part of me is like, I need to be focusing on writing. The other part of me is like, I should be focusing on learning cinematography really well. And the other part of me is like, I love cameras and I want to take pictures and videos and just do whatever. And I've really been getting into photography lately and want to go do more. I went out and took some photos the other day and it was really fun. I'm doing 2 episodes of the podcast this week, so I need to edit the podcast tonight, and then recording a second episode, like a bonus episode with David tomorrow, and then on Saturday I'm helping a friend move, so this weekend's going to be really full, so making this video is going to be a little bit tricky. It's probably all going to happen on Sunday, which, I mean, it usually does all happen on Sunday anyway. And then I'm probably not going to have any time to play Satisfactory with Andrew, which is sad, because it's awesome. A bunch of crazy things were released this week that I'm super excited about. I mentioned briefly, and I don't know if I actually stuck it in a video or not, that like the A7S III came out, and that looks really good actually. Like, super excited about that camera, if I were in the market for a camera. Then the Surface Duo came out, which is like a dual screen phone from Microsoft that's running Android. And I was originally just planning on buying it no matter what, but it is $1,500, and I realized that I just don't need it and don't actually think I would end up using it all that much. So yeah, I did end up buying a used refurbished smartwatch from Fossil, because that's something I've been missing. I had one a long time ago, and I really liked it, and then it died, and I just never replaced it because they're super expensive. But I got one that's refurbished that was like $50, so that's exciting. That's supposed to get here today. So the watch won't connect to my phone. Yeah. It connected to my iPad though, so good job, Google. I'm hoping that once the watch updates, it'll then connect to my phone. I don't know. It's a long shot, is what it is, but I can try. I have a plan for my portfolio. I'm going to put it together, and then I have a plan to reach out to someone, a local company, and see if they are interested in a free promotional video for their social media, in exchange for me putting it in my portfolio to start doing freelance video work. And I have an idea for that video. So hopefully the portfolio comes together quickly. I'm probably going to be working on that this coming week. This week I was supposed to edit the podcast like several times, and I've pushed it off and pushed it off. So that's what's happening tonight. And then I'm helping a friend move out of her apartment tomorrow and trying to put together this vlog video for both. Just I wanted to do a vlog instead of something more structured. And it's kind of the how-to on the last VFX shot I did on Weekend VFX 3. But I don't have time, so I don't know how that's going to happen. It's going to happen, but I don't know how it's going to happen. I've been thinking about the way I approach gear, because for me, I would really like all of my gear to be the best at what it does. And there's a lot of people that are like, get the one that's like good for both, and that's good. But for me, if I were able to like spec out my perfect rig for a bunch of different things, for like cameras, for instance, I would have three. I'd have one that's just a photo camera, one that's good at both, and one that's just a video camera. So if I were able to spec out my perfect camera setup right now with modern cameras, I probably would get, for the photos, a Hasselblad 907X50C. I think that looks great. I would love to try that. For a camera that's good at both, the A7S III is like right what I like. It's 10-bit, which is what I care about. And then for video, I'd probably go with something like an FX9 or an Ursa Mini Pro 4.6K G2. You know, something like that. Obviously, right now, I do have a close to that setup. This M50 is my both camera, and then I have the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 2.5K as my video only. And I'm getting a film camera from my sister, who used to shoot film a lot and doesn't really anymore. But she has a lot of extra, so she's giving me one of her old ones, and I'm going to try and start shooting some film. So I'm going to have that setup, but I thought I'd mention that. I haven't seen a lot of people talk about having that 3-tier setup, because I approach that in everything. For example, right now I have my phone, my tablet, and my laptop as my portable, my stationary, and then of course the iPad is the in between the both. And I'm hoping to move that to a phone, a laptop, and a desktop at some point. So I'm in my closet because my sister's on a Zoom call, and I didn't want to bother her with my talking while that's going on, and I didn't want to pick up any of the audio from that call either, so I'm in here because there's more stuff to dampen it. The other day I went out and I took some pictures while the sun was setting, and I brought my Blackmagic Cinema camera and took some shots out there and put together that cinematic sequence that you saw at the beginning of this. That was kind of a practice run for me, just taking the footage, editing the footage together. I'm still trying to figure out how to reduce my camera shake when I'm doing handheld shots like that. I'm going to try and get a shoulder rig and see what happens with that. But yeah, basically that went pretty well. I think it looked pretty good, and I'm hoping I get better as I go along, especially with that camera having zero stabilization and pretty bad rolling shutter. So this week for the VFX shot, I actually followed a tutorial because I knew the basics of what I needed to do to get the shot that I wanted for the teleportation, but I was having a hard time actually getting it to look the way I wanted to in After Effects. So I followed a tutorial pretty much exactly, and I will link it below. But then I added on top of that my own special touch, I guess. I did a few things differently, messed around with some settings, and I added in some assets from Triune Digital that I got 3 or 4 years ago. They're from their sci-fi VFX pack. Yeah, they were pretty cool. I think it turned out pretty well. I'm not going to talk too much about it because, like I said, I basically just followed the tutorial that I'm going to link in the description. This is just for me to practice, so it is good for me to practice even if it's just following a tutorial. Tomorrow, actually, I'm going to go see about talking to
a local company to see if they'd like a promotional video, and then if they would like one, then I'm going to make them a promotional video for Instagram and Facebook and add that to my portfolio. And I'm going to start working on my portfolio next week and hopefully be able to have that video in there. Start marketing myself as a freelance videographer for promotional videos. So hopefully that works out. That's what I'm hoping to do. That's what my plan is. We'll see whether or not they want it. There's a chance they won't, but I think they will. I think that they'll at least be open to me putting together something. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. It's pretty stressful. I forgot to say the end. So like, the end. Subscribe or don't. I don't give a fuck what you do. Just, it's over. We're done.
So let's go. Happen is what